Hello everyone, I'm Carl Azus. Headlining today's edition of our show, new developments in the Middle East and the landfall of a cyclone in India. Not since 2014 has there been so much violence between Palestinians and Israelis. From the Palestinian-controlled territory of Gaza, more than 3,100 rockets have been fired into Israeli lands. Israel says many of them have missed or gotten intercepted by its missile defense system, but some rockets have hit populated areas, killing at least 10 people since the violence flared up more than a week ago. Meantime, Israeli warplanes have launched airstrikes on Gaza. Their targets have included tunnels, residences, and other buildings that Israel says were being used by Hamas. That's the name of a Palestinian militant group that controls Gaza. Israel and some other countries consider Hamas to be a terrorist organization. The health ministry run by Hamas says more than 200 people have been killed in Gaza and tens of thousands of others have had to flee their homes. Other countries have called on Israelis and Palestinians to stop their attacks on one another, but when we produced this show, the two sides had not agreed on what would have to happen for a ceasefire to take place. A little over 2,000 miles east of Israel and Gaza, a different kind of violence has struck. Cyclone Tauktae made landfall Monday on the west coast of India. It had been moving up along that coast beforehand, killing several people, destroying hundreds of homes, and forcing tens of thousands to evacuate. Ahead of its landfall, Tauktae was the equivalent of a Category 3 Atlantic hurricane. Its sustained wind speeds were about 127 miles per hour, according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. It's brought extremely heavy rains to western India, causing severe flooding and power outages. India's government has deployed dozens of rescue teams to affected areas. Its Coast Guard and Navy are supporting those efforts with ships and helicopters. India has been grappling with a wave of coronavirus cases, setting records earlier this month for the number of new diagnoses. Those numbers have dropped a bit since then, and the country said it was taking steps to make sure hospitals in the areas affected by the cyclone would have electricity and enough oxygen supplies. After moving over land, Tauktae was expected to bring heavy rainfall to the high ground in northern India. 10-second trivia. What is the official color of the Golden Gate Bridge? Burnt sienna, international orange, vermilion, or California poppy? The distinctive color that helps the bridge stand out in the fog is called international orange. Some call it singing, some call it humming, some call it musical, and many call it annoying. But one thing they can all agree on is that San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge is making a noise. Last year, bridge officials made changes to his sidewalk safety railing on the western side of the structure. They installed thinner slats so more air could flow through, and they said they knew the bridge would sing when there were high winds. The tonal or organ-like sound can be heard for miles away. According to a bridge spokesman, some people think it's, quote, meditative and angelic. But officials say most people don't like it. And while their design change was reportedly necessary to keep the bridge safe, other workers on the Golden Gate say they're developing a fix for the sound, which they'll discuss in the months ahead.
The Golden Gate Bridge gets its name because it spans what's called the Golden Gate Strait. This is a 3-mile long and 1-mile wide body of water that connects the Pacific Ocean to the San Francisco Bay. Before the Golden Gate Bridge, there was a bustling ferry system that ran people and commerce between San Francisco and the Redwood Empire to the north. It's actually unknown how many people worked on the Golden Gate Bridge at the time of construction because records were scarce from that time. Today we have close to 200 employees who work to maintain, to paint, to weld, to make sure that the bridge is in good and safe operating condition.
So we're right now getting sandblasting on the outer part of the bridge, which is up underneath.
Right now, where the walkway is, where the pedestrians ride after 3:30, so the cars are probably just about 15 feet out. You can't feel it, but the bridge is probably moving, like this as we're standing.
In a containment like this, a rough estimate, 16 people sandblasting for a month and a half.
Our painters will go out to the most critical structural areas of the bridge where the fog and the salt and the wind has corroded the paint.
The salt eats this bridge up, the fog eats this bridge up. If we don't continue to paint it, it's just gonna rot away.
Ironworkers at the Golden Gate Bridge do everything from swing stages to platforms, structural steel replacement. We take out the old rivets, put in high-strength bolts in their place, and replace all the steel when it gets rusted out there to make sure it's safe for the public. The nickname for the Ironworkers is Cowboys in the Sky. Back in the day, they'd look up there and say, look at those crazy cowboys up there. And so the name kind of stuck, Cowboys in the Sky.
Folks out there every day making sure that the bridge is structurally sound and looking good.
The current's pretty strong around here. I mean, you can end up out there quicker than you know it. Right here is one of our foghorns. We have two of them down here, one on the east side, one on the west side. We've always had foghorns here at the bridge since it was built. Not much changes in foghorns, they just make noise. We tried automated systems, that just doesn't work. So the old standby system of actually visually seeing works the best because there's people here 24/7.
So as of July of 2018, the toll to cross the Golden Gate Bridge is $7 if you have a fast track, or $8 if you don't, maybe you're from out of town. And this supports much of the work that happens on a daily basis to maintain the bridge, to keep it looking good, and ensure that it's accessible for everyone.
A daring and death-defying rescue mission wraps up today's show. Well, maybe not exactly daring or death-defying, but it does involve ducks. 12 little ones and their mother recently wandered out of Central Park into a more populated part of New York City. You can't see the ducklings here, but you can hear them. They're cheeping from the carrier that police officers put them in. Mother Duck could hear them too, and she followed them and police back to Central Park where the wayward bird family was reunited. Well, you know they come cheaper by the dozen, and it's nice police were there to help them out of their malady, because while ducks are known to occasionally go dabbling in adventure, it's not like they can whistle her for help when they don't know which way to turn. There's no such thing as a 911 duck call either, so it is a good thing that police were able to preserve their dynasty. From Central Park, we're going to Central High School, the one in Knoxville, Tennessee. Thank you for watching and subscribing to our YouTube channel. After this show, we have 8 more to go before we wrap up for the spring season on Friday, May 28th. I'm Carl Azus for CNN.